Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. Before we get started, I just want to make sure that you guys can see and hear me okay. So you'll notice at the bottom of your screen, there's a little emoji button. Can you just give me a thumbs up that you can see and hear me? And you should also be seeing a title screen that has today's webinar title on it, along with the date. So if you can see those, just give me a thumbs up and then I will dive right in. All right, it looks like I am getting a couple of thumbs up. Thank you. As we go through today's webinar, if you have any questions, there is a little Q&A button on the side. Now, I won't see those all in real time, so probably what we're going to do is save 5 minutes at the very end of today's webinar, and I'll answer any questions I can on this webinar. And if there's anything I can't answer, I'll go ahead and get the answer for you and email you back personally. So without further ado, let's dive into the content. So today, as you know, today we're going to be talking about breakthrough sales innovations for 2025, and specifically, we're going to be diving into 7 new technological growth levers that you need to know. After all, I work for Zoho. We are a technology company, and one of the things that we like to specialize in is staying on the cusp of technology, especially as it pertains to sales. I'll get into this a little bit later, but one of our pretty much our bread and butter application is CRM, which is, as you know, the backbone for any sales and marketing process. So let's jump into today. I already mentioned very briefly, my name is Arun. I work for the enterprise team here at Zoho. And so for those of you who don't know me yet or have never been to a Zoho webinar, of which I do many, I have a lot of experience, several years in the CRM space, but specifically, I've been focused in the enterprise CRM, mid-market enterprise for the last 6-7 years. And specifically, I'm really into streamlining and improving sales processes. So you are likely a sales executive or sales director, sales manager. That's why you're here, to get the scoop on how technology is improving sales processes. So basically, I spend a lot of my time at the intersection of sales, marketing, and technology. So let's dive into the agenda today. In the next 25 minutes or so, I'm going to walk you through 7 really powerful growth levers that are reshaping enterprise sales. So many of these are specifically underutilized by even some pretty advanced enterprise teams. You'd be surprised. We work with a lot of enterprise companies, so it's always surprising to me to sort of uncover where a lot of large companies are sort of lacking, or they haven't made progress, or they haven't kind of taken things to where they really should be in 2025. So these ideas are going to be practical. They're going to be tech enabled, and really ultimately they're built for results. So that's what you're going to get here. Now, before I get into the meat and potatoes, I just want to make sure that you can trust us. We work with a lot of, you can see on the screen right now, all the brands that we work with. I've told you a little bit about me, and I'll just spend like 2 minutes real fast. Just to give you a little bit of background on Zoho, that's the company that I work for. We're a SaaS company that has been around for over 25 years. We serve over 150 countries. And we have over 55 business apps that are kind of all seamlessly synced together. I mentioned this earlier, but our bread and butter is CRM, sales and marketing processes. And CRM is literally our most popular app. We literally have dedicated decades to sort of optimizing these tools that are really geared towards sales professionals. So obviously that means you. We work with a lot of companies, many major ones, as you can see. I'm sure you'll recognize a few of these. Unfortunately, none of these companies give me discounts when I tell them I work for Zoho. In fact, most of them don't know who I am. So, and right before I jump into the meat and potatoes, a little pat on our back, and I'll obviously to just show you that we know what we're talking about. We have been voted as the best CRM for a couple of years in a row. But let's get into the content today. Enough of that. So what's going on with technology, especially as it pertains to sales? So I think we have to face it that buying enterprise software is broken. It's hard to evaluate. It's even harder to implement, and it's hard to drive direct ROI from any type of enterprise software unless you really spend a lot of time digging into it. And today, buyers, enterprise, software buyers really expect personalization. We expect agility. We expect value, sophistication, customization. We want a company to be easy to work with. We don't want to have to dial, 7 different numbers on a telephone tree to actually get to somebody to answer our questions. And this statistic from Gartner is pretty alarming that 73% of enterprise IT leaders regret their software purchase within the first year. And especially when we're talking about mid-market and higher companies, that's a pretty significant expense when it comes to cost, when it comes to bandwidth and time. We don't have time for that. And as a sales leader, especially, you're under pressure to deliver, right? You have to hit your numbers. So this session today is really about showing you how to stay ahead. So it's more important now than ever, obviously, to stay at least with, if not ahead of technology, because as you know, the sales landscape is not just shifting, but it's doing so at an accelerated pace. I mean, I'm listening to podcasts all the time. There's like a new AI tool every week that I'm rushing to figure out what it does and how it can help me in my processes. So as you know, evolution is not linear, but it's actually exponential. So if you fall behind, your climb back to relevance is actually steeper and steeper. So to stay up to speed, it's important to recognize some key industry shifts. The B2B buying experience is changing, with a lot of you wanting to have independent, customized experiences. AI and automation are now more important than ever because an efficient sales team needs technology to move fast, to deliver exemplary prospect experiences, and to provide transparency and collaboration across your company. So it means that your out of the box CRM alone is frequently not enough. You need some other things. And so we're going to get into kind of what you need and how you can implement those things. So before I jump into the content, I just want to ask you real quick, what's your biggest sales challenge today? Let me come back here and I'm going to launch a little poll here, and you can put your answer in there. A lot of companies are still stuck with manual processes. Many are stuck with people on their team not adopting their current CRM or technology processes. For other sales leaders, we don't have real-time insights to how we're doing, how we're meeting quotas, etc. Another problem, customer engagement, prospect engagement is just not quite where it needs to be. So fill in your answers here. As you do so, I will go ahead and move forward in this presentation since we don't have a ton of time today. So most sales teams aren't really failing because you have bad reps. It's really failing. If you're failing or if you're not hitting your goals, it's because your systems are working against you rather than for you. You might have disconnected data, clunky workflows. You might have a generic CRM setup, and these are all kind of silent killers to modern revenue growth. So I want to talk about the innovations, especially technology innovations, that can change that. And so what we're going to get into now is the actual 7 powerful growth levers for sales that you really need to not only know about, but actively seek to implement. All right, let's get into the meat and potatoes. Lever 1, predictive AI for forecasting. So AI, obviously, I think a lot of people are scared that AI is going to replace either their job or their sales reps. There's really not. It's not here to replace your sales reps. It's here to enhance them. So predictive forecasting helps you focus on the deals that matter the most and flag the ones that are likely to fall through. So essentially, it supercharges your team's sales efficiency, and it focuses effort on revenue generating deals. I mean, we know how much time we see this all the time at Zoho, especially with customers, how much effort is often put into deals that are just destined to not close. So at Zoho, for example, here we have an AI assistant. It's called Zia. It's our version of Alexa and anything else that every other AI that has a name, I guess. Ours is called Zia. So with Zoho's Zia AI, you actually get intelligent deal scoring, pipeline predictions, and visual insights through Zoho Analytics. So that's kind of how we incorporate predictive AI into forecasting for sales teams. All right, lever number 2. It's AI-powered sales engagement. So like the old way of doing things are email blasts, right? So email blasts just don't really cut it anymore. Modern engagement requires smarter multi-channel cadences. So communication with your prospects can be automated, but it can also be personalized at the same time. So rather than blasting them with a high volume of like templated emails, you're actually going to deliver a curated experience, because the goal is when you're leveraging AI, we don't want people to obviously see an email and say, or a point of communication and say, oh yeah, this is obviously AI generated, nor do we want them to say that this is mass sent, right? We want to feel a personal connection. We want to feel listened to. We want to feel paid attention to. And when your prospect feels that way, it obviously increases the chance of a deal closing. But you can actually accomplish that with AI still. So using something like Zoho campaigns and Sales IQ, you can automate personalized emails, chat follow-ups, lead scoring based on real-time user activity. So you can look at how your user is interacting with your website and create automated communication based on those behaviors. And the result, well, obviously you'll get better response rates, better communication, higher conversion rates, all of those things, which ultimately lead to more deals closed. All right, lever number 3, conversational intelligence. So every call that you do is a gold mine of coaching data. And this data should be leveraged to dial in your sales process. Now, technology can take your sales calls and create scripts. It can create workflows. It can create objection handling, all of these things that will ultimately improve your close rates. And you can deploy this individually to your sales reps, because each person is different, right? Each person faces unique challenges. Each of your sales reps has a different style. So what we really want to do is take the technology, learn from the style of each individual, and then create take the data and create improved scripts, workflows, objection handling, et cetera, based on your actual sales reps. So we don't have to dramatically change anything. We're actually bringing the customization to each rep. So an example of how we accomplish this is with Zoho Voice. You would transcribe, analyze, and lead score, or just score your calls. And then the managers can give feedback based on real conversations. The reps get smarter about their pitch and follow-up techniques. And it's really kind of like giving every sales agent or seller on your team a personal coach. And this one is a huge one. And it's one of those ones that, in my experience, the people that use this see big results, I'd say, over the course of 3 to 6 months. But there's so many more people who just don't use this, or are not aware of it, or they're using sort of templated one-size-fits-all approach to coaching your sales reps. All right, let's go to lever number 4, multi-touch ABM automation. Enterprise deals rarely involve just one decision maker. And as you know, if you're closing enterprise deals, the sales cycle can be pretty long. There's multiple conversations. Maybe you're having conversations with multiple people at the same time. So you really need to nurture multiple stakeholders with personalized value for each of them, right? If you're sensing a theme here, a lot of things are around personalization, customization, and automation, right? And we're kind of bringing them all together in different formats. So ABM is generally, the way we do ABM today, or I should say yesterday, is a high effort activity because it involves a high degree of customization. So now you actually don't need to use all this effort, because you can leverage technology to both automate your communication, but at the same time tailor it to individual stakeholders. And then you can track the effectiveness of each individual engagement across all of these different touch points. So one example is with Zoho, our ABM tools. You can automate outreach that aligns with each stakeholder's role, and then you can trigger next steps based on intent, and then you can coordinate sort of across sales and marketing to create a sort of holistic ABM approach. All right, we're on to lever number 5. This is unified 360-degree customer data. So it's alarming how many companies we work with that have highly scattered data. And it's not only across different platforms and different softwares, but the visibility is really difficult. Many times we have executives who can see siloed data, but they don't see other data that they need, and getting access to that data is very difficult. So if your data is scattered, I mean, your team is guessing. And so unifying data gives your reps a complete picture of what they need from first touch all the way through to renewal. So with full data visibility and access to real-time data, your reps are better equipped to close more deals into paying customers. And or if they want, they can use this data to upsell customers into higher tier plans based on things like product usage, right? So one of the things that we do is we have an all-in-one platform called Zoho One, and it brings really your entire stack and your data under one roof. And then Zoho Analytics kind of lets you slice and dice it the way that you need to across sales, support, and marketing. And really, it allows you to easily unlock data silos while still hiding the data that you don't need to see. So obviously data transparency is important to an extent, but you don't want everybody to have access to all data all the time. But what you do need is have the data all under one umbrella so that it's easy to kind of open and close the levers and latches that you need to for the right people. Okay, let's move on to lever number 6. We're moving fast today. Lever number 6 is smart deal qualification. So what is this? Well, too many sales teams, and I kind of mentioned this before, too many sales teams chase the wrong leads. And a lot of leads are more than just sort of Boolean, right? Qualified or not qualified. There's some nuance in there. And so smart deal qualification allows you to prioritize based on this sort of nuance. So things like fit, timing, behavior, all these things matter. And so you want to consider multiple dimensions in how you rate a deal as far as qualification and sort of deal temperature, right? So one example is with Zia AI, which I talked about earlier, and Zoho CRM. You can score leads based on activity, based on demographics, based on timing. And what this does is it keeps your reps focused on the hottest prospects, and it gives leadership confidence in the pipeline. A lot of times what we'll do is with leadership, we'll report a pipeline, but we really only have sort of a couple of categories of leads as far as how hot they are. What this does is it actually can give you a realistic view of what your pipeline looks like from deals that are really ready to close to deals that are maybe a week away to deals that are maybe months away. So it adds a lot of that nuance to smart deal qualification. All right, and we've made it to lever 7. So hopefully you guys, I know I'm moving fast. Let me just make sure that there's no, we don't have any questions yet? Okay, perfect. Lever number 7, intelligent pricing and CPQ. So discounting should be strategic, not guesswork, right? And technology today allows you to dynamically price certain offerings based on deal context. So you can increase revenue in a completely new dimension. So this is something that not very many companies do, and it may not even be the right fit for you. But if your company is in a position to take advantage of intelligent pricing, it's really a new way to unlock a different type of revenue, especially when you're doing enterprise sales. Most companies, especially in the software technology space, when you're doing enterprise deals, those aren't out of the box. You go to the pricing page and you see the price, right? Typically, those are custom made deals for a company, depending on size, depending on requirements. So leveraging intelligent pricing really allows you to squeeze the most juice out of every single deal. So with something like Zoho CPQ, reps can build quotes really, really fast. They can apply the right discounts, and they can stay consistent. And it integrates seamlessly with our CRM. So approvals and configurations kind of happen in real time. So there's no more bottlenecks. And with that, we've hit seven different levers, and that was we're at the 20-minute mark. So we're running well here. So just a quick recap: we talked about predictive AI for forecasting, AI-powered sales engagement, conversational intelligence, ABM automation, unified customer data, smart lead qualification, and intelligent pricing and CPQ. So the theme of here if you're going to take anything away from this webinar, is that technology exists that you can leverage AI to save time while increasing automation, while increasing customization, while increasing engagement with your prospects, and while getting better data and getting more data. All of these things combined together can really bring your sales process to the next level. So if you're behind in any of these 7 different things that I mentioned, then it's worth exploring how you can leverage either the current technology that you're using or exploring options that might assist you in really coming up to 2025, where sales teams are moving as far as achieving success by leveraging technology like Zoho. And speaking of Zoho, I will just tell you, take 2 minutes here to talk a little bit about us. So we've been around for almost 30 years. I mentioned this earlier. We're the CRM behind a lot of large enterprise companies, a small handful of which are listed here. I listed a few of them in the beginning of the webinar as well. But one of the biggest reasons we've been able to have success is that we are constantly developing and updating the CRM and our other applications based on direct feedback from our customers. We actually just had our annual user conference a couple of weeks ago in Houston, Texas, and we bring like 300 people from our company to this user conference just to literally listen, interact with, and talk to customers. And we have this big session afterwards, just talking about feedback. Like, what do people like? What do you want more of? What would improve your sales processes more that we maybe haven't explored? So and going back to connecting with customers, it's the reason that we have 50% faster implementation and deployment compared to everybody else. It's because really the number one thing that we found is that sales teams really want to be able to get up and running fast. Speed to result is really what we focus on. So I get it, switching software sucks, and usually implementing new software is painful, and it's a big risk. You're going to go through some pain, but is it worth it? And can you justify it to leadership? Our main focus is ease of implementation and speed to result, because that's how you can justify it. And ultimately, you can justify it when your numbers look better. That's why we do webinars like this, and that's why we really focus on connecting with users and customers and sales executives like you. So before I let you go, there's some other examples of our success in companies we work with across a variety of different use cases. You can jump to our website and check it out if you're interested. But I want to sign off and say, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly. You can also type in anything you want to in the chat. I have a couple more minutes here, so if you have any questions, feel free to launch them in the chat. If not, after I close this webinar, there will be a short, I think it's like a 5-question survey. I would love to hear your feedback on what you liked, what you didn't like, what you'd like more of, what you wished I wouldn't talk about, or any feedback is good feedback. I'm always looking for better ways to curate good and interesting content for sales executives like you. I don't see any questions in the chat, so I will give you back 5 minutes of your time today. I appreciate you joining me here on a Tuesday. As I said, there's going to be a quick survey here. And again, I will type in this URL for you. If you're at all curious about how Zoho can serve enterprise customers like you, that would be the specific URL you're going to want to visit. There's the generic sort of zoho.com, but this is our URL specific to enterprise. Appreciate you guys here. Let me know if you have any questions. You have my email address. You will get the survey right after this. I appreciate your time. Have a great week.